Hello, how's it going? How are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. So hey, I want to talk about how everything has just been stressful for everybody recently, and especially with all the changes that have been going on. Sometimes with that, we can create arguments with our coworkers, or our managers will put their problems on us. We have all experienced that sometimes. Sometimes maybe we probably wanted to tell them off, or do some other things, but all of it will be in the mind, right? Essentially, I want to talk about how this young woman was dealing with enough issues. She was tired of those games, and she fatally stabbed her manager 15 times. So, 26-year-old Afeni Muhammad essentially works at McDonald's. I'm assuming as a stock organizer or something like that. And essentially, for weeks and weeks and weeks, her manager would start arguments with her, say weird rhetoric, and would even send her home early, which is, playing with her finances that she does not like. And she felt disrespected for a good period amount of time. And she did send in some warning videos about how her boss should really just be a bit more sweeter to her.
I got sent home early yesterday. I got sent home early today by the same person. I'm telling you, she's a bully. This shit isn't funny. She needs to understand that just because she's a mother and got children doesn't mean that she can come in the store, disrespecting people, talking to them like everybody's beneath her. She has no respect. And it isn't funny at all. Like, seriously, man, I got shit I gotta take care of. And she keeps sending me home early. It's not funny. She's playing games. And then all day, throughout the day, she keeps sending her little racial shit. And then throughout the day, she keeps on putting negative energy in the air, talking about people, gossiping about people. It's not funny, man. That shit gonna have to stop. She's a bully. I'm telling you. She's a bully. She brings a lot of negative energy in there. She always panic when there's a lot going on, and then she try to manipulate that and make it seem like we ain't doing something right, but we are working really hard and doing great. It's just the fact that she panicked, and I caught her a few times making a mistake, and she tried to hurry up and play it off. Nobody's perfect. It's fucking McDonald's. It happens. You know what I mean? Sometimes, somebody might get confused. So fuck, it gets busy, yeah. But she needs to stop playing like she don't be making mistakes. I be catching her. So all that animosity and shit that she keep putting in the air and stuff, and then trying to tell me, I'm always snapping on people. No, that's false. No, I don't snap on people. I don't go in there doing that. I tell her, no, I make peace. That's what I'm doing. I've been creating peace. So all that negative energy that she's bringing in there and trying to manipulate it, no, that's going to stop. All that negative shit she's saying about, her personal life, all of that. No, she's bringing all of that in there and then playing games saying she want to take her belt off and beat somebody. Y'all act like my kids in here. No, we ain't your kids. Respect us. Stop talking to us like that. That shit is crazy. I'm telling you. But to get sent home 2 days in a row, man, and I came in on my off day to make up my time, and she still sends me home early, it's not funny. Somebody will have to do something about that. It's not funny. It's not fair. It isn't funny at all. So, she could keep being a bully if she wants to, but that shit is going to catch up to her. Because it ain't funny at all.
And so with the videos, it shows that essentially that, there is something going on there. And this has been going on for a good period of time. And then because of that, she seems to have had enough. And she had multiple videos essentially warning about how, people should be more nicer to people should have more respect, and how her working as a physical therapist, going to online community colleges, and even with dealing with an abusive relationship, how all that might come into the point of I'm going through all of this and you're causing me problems. So essentially she planned this out, and I think she essentially snapped.
With an update to a breaking story,
Mama died trying to take care of us.
We've been following the last few hours out of Eastpointe, where police say an employee stabbing her own manager to death.
Police say the employee had been in an argument with the manager that ended with her being sent home.
She left for 5 minutes. She came back with a mask on her face.
Family of the victim identify her as 39-year-old Jennifer Harris. She was stabbed multiple times before a customer in the drive-through line intervened, holding the employee at gunpoint until officers arrived.
He had her sitting down there in the parking lot next to a vehicle, and he had the gun pointed at her. That's when police and all them rolled up.
He did the right thing. He showed, so to speak, heroism, and we really appreciate his assistance because, like I said, otherwise we would have a dangerous criminal right now.
Her children now in shock at how such senseless violence could have ended their mother's life.
Because she went to her job just fine until she was sent home again. I guess that made her ultimately snap, and instead of actually doing her pre-planned somewhat of a plan,
Nah, this stays at home though. I'm not gonna bring this to work because that wouldn't look right, I guess. But I gotta get up out of here. I gotta go to work.
she left, came back with a kitchen knife and fatally stabbed a woman 15 times. The mother, last name goes by Harris, 39 years old, is a mother of 6 that was fatally stabbed in the McDonald's franchise, and essentially Muhammad was pinned down by a salient nearby trying to defend Harris, and then she was detained later on. And from this, there is a conference that happened. She will be getting charged with second-degree murder and can eventually possibly face life in prison for this type of incident. And if she is able to achieve bond or some type of compromise, she would not be allowed to leave the state, always have a GPS in her, and she also does have a history of alcohol abuse, so they will monitor her drug and alcohol use and just make sure she does basically wellness courses as well. Especially when a similar incident happened in Virginia around 2022, where she did stab a person, I'm assuming in an altercation, during a time of her working residence. Her bond is at $25 million, and yeah, essentially that is it. And here are some videos to show you what the court case has went through.
Handown with regard to the defendant, Afeni Muhammad. Please set forth the factual basis for the warrant request.
Yes, Your Honor. 7/10/25, McDonald's employee Afeni Muhammad stabbed McDonald's manager Jennifer Harris multiple times with a kitchen knife at the McDonald's restaurant at 179219 Mile. Harris was not armed at the time and died of her injuries. Prior to the stabbing, Muhammad was sent home by Harris for not performing her work duties and told Harris, "I'll be back." Muhammad was arrested on scene and the knife was recovered. Muhammad admitted that she intended to kill Harris and stated that after she was sent home, she drove to a nearby park, decided to come back and stab Harris with a knife that she had inside of her vehicle. When Muhammad returned to stab Harris, she entered the back entrance with a hooded mask over her face in an attempt to conceal her identity and attempted to flee the scene after the stabbing, but was stopped by an armed customer.
And the requested charges are murder in the first degree, count 2, dangerous weapon carrying with unlawful intent, and there's a habitual second notice offense. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
The warrant is being signed and we can proceed to arraignment.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Calling file number 25354, People versus Afeni Muhammad. Counsel appearances for the record, please.
Dr. Igash, on behalf of the people.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Please, this honorable court, ma'am, hearing on behalf of Mrs. Muhammad, who does appear to be Zoom.
Your name, please, ma'am.
Afeni Muhammad.
Very good. You're here today for arraignment on the charges of murder in the first degree, premeditated, count 2, carrying a weapon with unlawful intent, and a habitual second notice. Mr. Licata, how does your client wish to proceed?
Thank you very much, Your Honor. At this time, my client is asking the court to enter a not guilty plea, and this matter set for a probable cause conference and a preliminary exam. I have advised my client of her rights, as well as the charges against her and the potential penalties. We are ready to proceed on those grounds.
Very good. Ma'am, do you understand the nature of the charges against you to your satisfaction after talking to your attorney?
Yes.
Very good. I will go ahead and enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. Are you requesting a court-appointed attorney?
Yes.
I will appoint an attorney to represent you. We'll set this matter for a probable cause conference on July 23rd, 2025 at 1 p.m. The preliminary examination will be on July 30th, 2025 at 1 p.m. As to bond, Mr. Licata?
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Just briefly, my client is 26 years old, does live in the great city of Eastpointe. Your Honor, my client is a high school graduate. In fact, was taking some online classes for college for a physical therapy degree. Your Honor, there are some disturbing facts in this particular matter, but there are facts that haven't been brought out yet, and my client is extremely anxious to have those facts brought to light during the pendency of this case. She was in an extremely abusive relationship that was not only mental but physical, that involved alcohol issues, which is where the habitual second stems from, and her prior record. Your Honor, my client is a helpful person. She's a giving person. She's actually is credited with saving a life because of a 60-year-old who had skin cancer that she may go to the doctor to find out that that's exactly what it was, and that person is doing extremely well right now. I understand the facts that have been laid out today in the warrant, but at this time, Your Honor, we are asking the court to consider a bond in this matter that is appropriate, that my client can meet so that she can meet with her attorneys and prepare her for defense in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the people?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Pursuant to court rule, the court is well within its authority to grant no bond involving any case involving murder. In this case, we are requesting no bond for this defendant. Also provided within the court rules are certain factors for this court to consider when determining whether to grant any bond at all, and in this case, we are requesting no bond as I indicated. First of all, the court can consider whether or not this defendant is a threat to the community. She entered a public building with other individuals, other employees that were present. She produced a weapon that was a knife longer than 3 inches, and she stabbed the victim multiple times, up to possibly as many as 15 times, eventually causing her death. There were other employees that were present at the time, some of which attempted to help the victim after the stabbing occurred. That alone is enough to show that there is a threat to the community. She then ran from the building to her vehicle, presumably with the intent to flee from the scene. She was stopped by a helpful bystander. You're also able to consider the likelihood of conviction in this case, given the facts as laid out by Detective Showers and the information that the prosecutors have reviewed in order to charge this defendant. There is a very high likelihood of conviction. And then finally, the defendant does have a prior instance of at least one that I'm aware of that involved a stabbing, similar obviously to the stabbing that occurred in this case, involving a knife. So given all of those factors, and given the fact that this court does have authority to give no bond to defendants charged with murder, I am asking at this time for no bond in this case.
Thank you, counsel. The court has reviewed the charges and the circumstances surrounding this case. The defendant is facing various serious charges, including murder in the first degree, which is one of the most serious criminal offenses in our state, carrying penalties up to life without parole. Additionally, carrying a dangerous weapon with unlawful intent further underscores defendant's potential threat to public safety. Defendant has a prior criminal record out of Virginia for malicious wounding. It was actually felony malicious wounding that was reduced to unlawful bodily injury concerning a stabbing, and that is what gives rise to the habitual second. And in determining bond, the court must look to the factors outlined in Michigan Court Rule 6.106. Number 1, the seriousness of the offense and the danger posed to the community. The charges here involved a violent crime with a weapon, indicating a substantial risk to the public. The court finds there is a significant threat to public safety, and therefore the bond must reflect that risk. Number 2, the weight of the evidence against the defendant. While the evidence is not fully before us and the defendant is cloaked with the presumption of innocence, the nature of the charges along with the prior criminal history suggests that there is substantial evidence against the defendant. Defendant's criminal history: the defendant has a violent criminal past. The history supports the court's concern that the defendant may engage in further violent conduct if she is released. The defendant's ties to the community: while the defendant is relatively young at 26 years of age, there's no indication that she has any significant stabilizing ties to the community that would ensure her return for court appearances. Without these ties, the court is concerned about the likelihood of flight. Number 5, defendant's risk of fleeing or failing to appear. Due to the severity of the charges and the habitual offender status, it makes the defendant a high risk for flight. The court finds that this factor weighs heavily in favor of a high bond amount. Substance abuse or mental treatment: although there are no reports at this time suggesting that the defendant suffers from mental health or substance abuse issues that would mitigate the risks posed by defendant's release, the court is, after considering all of these factors, going to be setting bond at $25 million, cash surety only, with conditions. If the defendant is able to meet those conditions, she must be on a GPS steel cuff tether. She is not to leave the state of Michigan. She is to report her address within 24 hours of, she must report any change of address within 24 hours. There would be stringent daily contact with community corrections as to her whereabouts. She also would be required to have alcohol and drug testing as condition of her release. There would be no contact with the family of the decedent. Any witnesses, she is not to return to McDonald's. And if she is unable to post the $25 million bond, she will remain in custody pending further proceedings. And that concludes this matter for today. We will see you back here, ma'am, on July 23rd at 1 o'clock for your probable cause conference.
And essentially, we see something that I even was predicting that was bubbling up underneath the surface. That somebody essentially will break and snap from, let's just believe what Muhammad is saying, essentially saying that, you know, the manager or the boss isn't being too nice and even being inappropriate at times, thus creating a harsh work environment and also cutting her off of her working, even taking up off days to try to get her hours back up. We see all of.
I was wrongfully treated today at work. I was literally physically tapped on a lot of times. My name kept getting called. I was doing a great job. I kept getting sabotaged, tempted, so my button can get pressed and I can go out of character. So although I went out of character, all I could say was stop talking to me. That's all I could say. Stop talking to me. And to walk into my space, still bothering me, and I said, get away from me. Please get out of my space if you don't mind. I can't talk right now, and you still continue to touch me. That made me very unhappy. It was ridiculous. Because I know that I'm a great person. And I know I won't be tolerating that. So since they decided to bully me, let the universe show them what's next. Because it wasn't right. It was ridiculous. And there will be hell to pay for that. Without a doubt.
We see all of this and we should conclude to make sure, let's try to engage in some self-therapy, some DBT, CBT. Make sure to journal, make sure just to make any videos and private them about how you feel for more healthier ways to express your anger.
Stop fucking with me!
let's try to see if we can report them to any other type of, you know, higher ups as well. And also, in a way, we're not responsible for other people's feelings and actions, but let's try our best to say, well, how is the situation going? How can we mitigate that? And maybe more communication would be, you know, more sufficing than anything else. Let's try to decrease these risks, you know. Also though, she has been going through a series of like mental issues and interpersonal issues with any past experiences with people. So it did show that she was going through some things. So that probably could also contribute to the situation, albeit it is a, you know, harming and sad experience she went through. However, she is still in jail, like she still is held, so she is going to get, you know, some consequences for her actions, because when she did do a central stabbing around 2022, she did go to jail for it. She was going to serve 4 years of prison, but instead she was just withheld a little bit and served 1 year of probation. So essentially, right, so it kind of adds up into like, okay, maybe this isn't the best experience. She is seen to be not a safe person in the environment at the moment. So I am sending my condolences to the children that will be motherless, and, you know, obviously I'm sad for the woman who did pass away from this incident. And I do hope, you know, the jail, the county, the state, the city, whomever is in charge of Muhammad also gives her therapeutic advice and a therapy to help her as well. And if medication would have to be permissible, then that would be great. But all in all, overall, I am seeing, you know, how things have been changing and how these types of, you know, harmful advances has been increasing over the years. Because I wanted to make a video about how healthcare workers are dealing with that brunt of the entire situation, right? And it was already bad enough that people were essentially fighting people and shooting people over a wrong order or a bad hostile order, or maybe the way the employee spoke to the customer through the drive-through speaker. Those things has already been happening, and now it's happening a little bit more deeper internally. So yeah, just make sure to stay safe out there and just give an update to see what's been happening. So thank you for watching. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe, turn on your post notifications, follow me on my Instagram, it's Chreslie. Sorry, follow me on my x.com, Chreslie Cubs with 2 B's. Follow my art Instagram, Honey Cubs with 2 B's. Follow my X art account. I think it's like XXX Cubs with 2 B's. All right, go to my website. You can purchase some cool things. Come buy my books. Come subscribe to any memberships. Thank you. Have a great day. Peace.